The cosmic joke: what if life has no purpose at all? What if life has no purpose at all? Not because it is meaningless, but because it is too vast to fit inside a single meaning. What if the very hunt for purpose is the trap, the mask, the punchline of a cosmic joke that only lands when we finally laugh? And breathe? And live? Imagine this. A child sits in a field and makes a crown from weeds, a kingdom from clouds, a story from birdsong. No purpose. Only play. Only presence. Only an unbroken ribbon of awareness moving through a small body in a large world that doesn't need explaining to be loved. Then, slowly, the lessons arrive. What are you going to be? What are you going to do? What is your plan? The crown becomes homework. The clouds become goals. The birdsong becomes background noise. Something is gained, yes. Skill. Direction. Map and compass. But something is misplaced too. The laughter at the center. The ease at the edge. The bright, purposeless joy of being. We are told that purpose will save us. Find it and you will finally belong. Catch it and the restlessness will sleep. Name it and the ache will end. So we pursue. Degrees. Titles. Missions. Roles. We turn the sky into a ladder and climb until the air gets thin. And the stars look suspiciously like more rungs. We say we are seeking meaning, but often we are seeking relief from doubt, from fear, from the human condition of not knowing what all this is, why we are here, what any of it is for. But what if asking what for is like asking a sunrise to produce a business plan? What if life's value is not instrumental but intrinsic, its logic more like music than mathematics? A song does not continue asking why, it continues because it is singing. You do not demand a symphony justify itself with a mission statement, you listen with your whole body, and in listening you discover that the listening was the point. When philosophers say the universe is indifferent, they may mean it does not stop to explain itself. When mystics say the universe is loving, they may mean it keeps singing anyway. Between these two statements is the possibility that life neither promotes you nor persecutes you, it simply plays. Sometimes softly, sometimes too loudly, sometimes out of tune with your preferences, but always, relentlessly, here. If there is a cosmic joke, perhaps it is this. We search for purpose as if it were a prize hidden behind a door, only to find that the door opens onto the room we never left, this breath, this body, this floor, this sky. We cross oceans for the view and discover the horizon followed us the whole way. We turn around with a suitcase full of answers and realize our pockets were empty and perfect from the start. What if we suspended the hunt for a moment? Set down the net with which we try to catch the wind? Suppose we asked a different question. If life has no final purpose, how would I live today? If no cosmic judge is waiting with a scorecard, how would I eat, speak, touch, create, rest? If nothing needs to be proven, what wants to bloom through me, not to achieve immortality, not to earn permission, but because blooming is the only honest thing a flower can do? Notice what happens in your body when you imagine this. Something unclenches. The jaw softens, the shoulders settle, the breath becomes rounder. The heart untangles itself from its own rope and remembers how to swing. Purpose as pressure dissolves, participation remains. Your life is not a test, it is a conversation. Your days are not rungs, they are rooms. You are not a thesis, you are a tide. Consider ants. They do not pause mid-grain to debate their calling. They simply move together, each gesture clear, the colony alive with a distributed intelligence that no single ant possesses. Consider trees. They do not justify their existence to the soil, they exchange sugar and signals through the mycelial web, and in that exchange a forest wakes. Consider stars. They do not publish manifestos on why they shine, they fuse and flare and fold, and in their burning, elements are born that will one day write poems about stars. In each case, meaning is not the precondition for movement, movement generates the meanings we later narrate. The human gift and burden is self-awareness. We can step out of the dance to ask what the dance is for. This distance allows art, ethics, science, memory. It also allows anxiety. We can become so obsessed with justifying our steps that we miss the music. We pray to purpose to spare us from uncertainty, as if certainty were life's native language. But the native language may be flow, surprise, emergence, improvisation. A jazz solo does not defend itself from silence, it invents itself inside silence, and when it is over, the silence is larger. Imagine that life is an artist and you are the brushstroke. The brushstroke does not need to know the whole painting to be true. Its task is simpler and deeper, to be fully itself where it lands. Thick when thick is needed, thin when thin will do, bright or muted, curved or firm, responsive to the canvas it meets. The meaning comes later, or never, or always. The meaning is the painting seen from a distance we will never quite inhabit. From within the stroke, honesty is enough. If the joke is that we spend our days trying to convince reality to give us a receipt for being alive, then the practice is learning to live without receipts. To act without the guarantee of applause. To love without the contract of forever. To build sandcastles that the tide will certainly reclaim, and to build them anyway, not as denial of impermanence but as partnership with it. Impermanence is not the thief of meaning, it is its midwife. It is because the song ends that we listen. It is because the bloom fades that we notice the bloom. It is because we end that we begin it all. What happens when we let go of the master plan? Work does not stop. Attention shifts. Instead of chasing a grand narrative, we become artisans of the present. We sand the rough edge from a conversation. We bring a glass of water to a tired friend. We plant a seed with no assurance of shade and call the planting sufficient. We cook a simple meal and eat it like a prayer. The mundane becomes sacramental when it no longer has to be a stepping stone to somewhere better. This is not laziness, it is liturgy. A daily ritual of yes. If life has no ultimate purpose, then everything is permitted, no. If life has no ultimate purpose, then integrity becomes more, not less, essential. Without an external scoreboard, we are thrown back on the only judge who travels with us to the end, our own inner witness. We become accountable to the quiet place inside that knows when we have betrayed ourselves. We become students of kindness, not to earn points, but because kindness feels like alignment in a purposeless universe. Because honesty tastes like clear water. Because courage hums like a tuning fork in the chest. Meaning can be a fortress, it can also be a bridge. We learn to hold our stories lightly. I was born to do this becomes I am choosing this now. This is my destiny becomes this is my devotion. We graduate from fate to fidelity, from needing the cosmos to sign our permission slip, to offering our life as a gift without invoice. There will be days when the joke isn't funny. Grief will arrive with no punchline. Suffering will outtalk philosophy. In those hours, purpose as a slogan will fail, and that is good. Slogans are poor companions in deep water. What remains then is not why, but with. With breath. With body. With each other. Sitting beside pain without decoration may be the bravest art we make. To hold a shaking hand, to keep vigil through a long night, to say I'm here without pretending to be the sun, that is meaning enough to carry the dark. Notice how often our despair comes from comparison. We measure our life against the edited lives of others and declare ourselves behind. Behind what? A train schedule for souls that no station master ever printed. We compare our insides to their outsides and call the difference failure. But there is no behind in a universe without a finish line. There is only this step. And if this step is honest, it is on time. We can practice non-attachment to meaning the way we practice non-attachment to outcomes. We can create, love, serve, rest, and allow the story others tell about our life to be theirs. The tree does not chase its reputation through the forest, it drinks light. The river does not argue its worth to the stones, it moves. The hawk does not consult a panel about whether the sky likes its circles, it circles. What about ambition? Must we abandon it? No. Ambition is energy with a costume on. Remove the costume and the energy is still useful. Let ambition become aspiration, a rising breath rather than a clenched fist. Aspire to depth rather than height. To compassion rather than conquest. To craft rather than credit. Let your work be skilled enough that gratitude finds it even if applause does not. You might ask, if life has no purpose, why bother with goodness? Because goodness is how reality feels when you are not fighting it. Because empathy is what the heart does when it is not afraid. Because generosity is simply the overflow of a cup that stopped pretending it was empty. These are not commandments from above, they are permissions from within. They are not strategies to win, they are ways to be well while everything changes. Consider that some of your most radiant moments were not the planned ones. The unscheduled conversation that became a friendship. The wrong turn that became a view. The quiet afternoon that became a memory strong enough to outlive applause. Accident is the pseudonym of grace. What if the cosmic joke is that life keeps offering you these small, shimmering detours, and you keep missing them because you are busy polishing the thesis of why you exist. We can cultivate a posture, a simple stance toward reality, curiosity over control. Curiosity says, "What is this?" Control says, "Be what I decided." Curiosity softens the jaw and opens the eyes. Control tightens the chest and narrows the room. A purposeless universe is not an insult to curiosity, it is its playground. Without a script, we are invited to improvise. Without an audience, we are invited to listen. Imagine waking up tomorrow and forgetting to be impressive. You make coffee and it tastes like a small miracle. You step outside and the air is more generous than your plans. You answer an email like a human and not a resume. You tell someone you love them without forwarding the message to the future for approval. You let the moment be unprofitable and call it alive. No purpose. Only presence. Only participation. There is a difference between seeking and chasing. Seeking is humble, chasing is hungry. Seeking sits still until the path becomes visible. Chasing runs in circles and calls the dizziness progress. When we are chasing purpose, our life becomes a negotiation with a mirage. When we are seeking, our life becomes a study in attention. And attention, clean, slow, honest attention, turns anything it touches into enough. You may fear that surrendering the hunt for purpose will make you passive. But passivity and peace are not the same. Peace is full of agency, it is authority without aggression. It is the authority to choose the next right thing without needing the next 100 things guaranteed. It is the authority to say no when your body says no, and yes when your heart grows taller. It is the authority to rest. Rest is not a reward for finishing, it is a way of belonging to time. If life has no purpose, it also has no sides. No enemy in the sky to defeat. No exam to pass. Only relationship. To breath, to ground, to people, to the animal in your chest that wants to stay close to warmth and water. Only participation. Only practice. Practice seeing what is here without arguing with it. Practice telling the truth without ornament or apology. Practice asking for help before your pride translates into isolation. Practice offering help before your fear translates into stinginess. Practice learning something difficult without making it a referendum on your worth. Practice letting go before life has to pry your fingers open. And laugh. Not as a strategy or performance. Laugh because the seriousness can be a costume too. Laugh because a planet is hanging in space and oranges exist. Laugh because you are here for a fraction of a blink and somehow got invited to taste mango and hear rain. Laugh because it is all too much and not enough and somehow exactly what it is, and your laughter cannot fix it but can make room for it to be bearable. There will be work to do. Dishes, deadlines, injustices that require more than meditation. A purposeless cosmos does not absolve responsibility, it clarifies it. We act not because action guarantees a specific future, but because action is what a living thing does when it notices suffering. We protest because dignity knocks on our ribcage until we open the door. We build because hands like to make shelters. We share because hunger looks like our own face. If life is ultimately purposeless, you have permission to become simple. Not small, simple. To choose fewer, truer commitments. To keep promises you can carry without resenting their weight. To let your calendar honor your values instead of your fear. To give your attention to places where it returns as aliveness. To put your phone down like a candle snuffed before sleep. Let your body be your teacher when ideas get loud. Does this conversation expand your chest or narrow it? Does this plan enliven your eyes or dim them? Does this room invite your breath or steal it? Your body is fluent in the language of now. It will not write you an essay on meaning, it will walk you to water. Sometimes the most honest prayer is not why or what next, but thank you. Thank you, even when the thank you is cracked and wet. Thank you for the person who stayed. Thank you for the lesson that hurt but cleaned something ancient. Thank you for the ordinary mercy of a quiet morning that nobody photographed. Thank you for the chance to try again. When the mind insists on a thesis, offer it a koan. What is the purpose of a laugh that makes you cry? What is the purpose of a mountain that never reads its own reviews? What is the purpose of a fox asleep in winter sun? If the mind relaxes, the heart can answer. To be a laugh. To be a mountain. To be a fox. You may never resolve the question, and that is the resolution. You may never capture life in a definition, and that is its freedom. If there is a cosmic joke, the punchline is not that nothing matters. It is that matter itself is astonishing. That being, without justification, is already miracle. That the vast indifference of space somehow includes a kitchen where someone is humming while cutting fruit. So live. Not after you figure it out. Not once your purpose arrives in certified mail. Now. In partial understanding. In weather that does not ask your permission. In a body that is braver than your thoughts. Plant a small tree. Learn the name of the person who bags your groceries. Write the paragraph. Fix the hinge. Apologize first. Take a slower breath than you usually allow. Look up. There is no secret meaning hiding behind the sky. There is only sky. And you, under it, with a life that can be honest without being explained. Perhaps that is the oldest wisdom. To trade the hunt for purpose for the practice of presence. To discover that when you stop demanding life be meaningful, it becomes intimate. The world moves closer. The room warms. Hands find other hands. And the joke, finally, is shared. Not at our expense, but for our relief. We laugh because we were trying so hard to be the thesis. And all along we were the laughter. Sleep when you are tired. Eat when you are hungry. Work when work is real. Say no when no is love. Say yes when yes is true. Hold what you can, release what you must. Let the day be enough times one. Let the night be a bowl that carries you back to morning. Let the seasons turn without demanding a reason. Let the river make its own case for why it goes where it goes. And when the question rises again, as it will, what is the purpose of my life? Smile like someone who knows a secret and answer softly. To live it. To live it well enough that I don't need more than this breath to prove I was here. To love it clumsily and sincerely. To show up for the web I cannot see but can feel. To become the kind of presence that makes other lives lighter. To laugh at the joke without needing to explain it. What if life has no purpose at all? Then let your life be your permission. Let your days be your devotion. Let your presence be your proof. And let your laughter be the seal on a simple, radiant truth. Being is enough. You are enough. This moment is enough. And enough is exactly, gloriously, more than it needed to be.